I volunteered for the draft. Thought, well, I just will get this thing over with because that's when the lottery was coming around, and you were given a number, to if you were going to be drafted by that number. So I thought, well, before I decide this, I'm going to go ahead and just volunteer for the draft. I'm young, not married, I'm just free, and so I'm going to get it and get it over with. I took somebody else's place that was to go in August of '68. And then they went to Fort Polk, and then that was advanced infantry training. They were claiming their authority is what they were doing. I mean, they were, you knuckleheads, and just downgrading you as far as they could, as much as they could and as hard as they could, and just insulting you more or less than anything. Okay. Back to Nebraska, 30 days, and then before he went to Vietnam. So that was in January of '68. I come home for 30 days, and then February 14th, I was on my way to Vietnam. You got to Cam Ranh Bay, which is in Vietnam, which was pretty well centralized, United States-wise. It was pretty safe there. So they assigned you to a company, and they assigned me to a company, 1st Battalion, 5th Cav, and that was up north, okay, up around the Quezon Son area. So I went there, and you had to find your own way. It wasn't like they just pick you up and take you. You found your own way. It's up north there someplace. You find it. So that's what I did. You get on a truck, and then you maybe go to an airport that comes in only once a day, and you just keep going until you get to this place. You'd spend underneath the stars without a bunker, per se. You'd spend four weeks out and 1 week in. So you spend what I'm saying is 4 weeks out underneath the stars, and then 1 week under maybe a bunker guarding. They would rotate you. They had 4 or 5 companies, then they'd rotate you around A, B, C, D, E company or something like that. Well, you were infantry. I mean, you were designated as infantry. Ground troop, guerrilla ground troop, you fight on the ground. So what we would do, see, they would drop us out in the Tules with these helicopters and then make contact. And then if they made contact, then they'd bring in airstrikes or air guns. So that was kind of the beginning of that air of the 1st Cav, and that's the unit that I was in. I was trying to find some guys that I served with, and they were from back east, and I always tried to find them, and I could never find them. So I got on the internet, and we was in a skirmish, heck of a skirmish on May 9th, 1968. So I brought up that on the internet. And it shows on the internet ones that died that particular day, because we lost 13 killed and 32 wounded that day. So I brought up that, and in here there was a website out there of the daughter of one of the guys that I was trying to find. And here were some of the names and stuff of the different ones that I found. This guy he was the 1st sergeant. He got killed over there when I was there. I carried him off the hill. These 2 here got killed. He was a medic. He was the company commander, the CO, and he just passed away. He got shot 7 times. Because either one of them had the other's address or phone number, you see. So I made contact with all of them that I wanted to make contact with. So he says, hey, we're having a reunion out in Bardstown, Kentucky. Why don't you come? So oh gosh, that's kind of late notice, So I thought, by God, I'm going to get on the plane. I'm going to go out there. So I went out there. And here a guy had similar to this here, not like this. And I says, well, how'd you get your medals? I never got any of my medals, you see. And he says, well, here's the address, or he emailed it to me. Here's the address that you got to write to the Department of Defense, and you can get them. So I come back, and I did that. It was in June that I applied for them, and then 2 days before Christmas, then I got them. Vietnam Service Medal, National Defense Medal. Republic of Vietnam campaign medal and Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross by Palm. So I was lucky enough not to have a Purple Heart. This is like my short time calendar, because you never knew what day it was over there. You know, Sunday was just like a Monday. There's probably 25 names I know on the wall. Just in one day there was 13. Here I was, 20 years old and out, fulfilled my obligation, not old enough to vote, not old enough to drink. And for probably 15 years, I didn't vote. I'd sneak a drink every once in a while, believe me, but 15 years I probably didn't vote just because of that. I mean, you come out a new person, you were thinking for yourself. I mean, there was one person you looked out for. That was your buddy and yourself. You know, there were two people.